Hi guys, welcome to Navigator's Vault episode 5. Today we will be discussing tariffs. As usual, we filmed it on tariff day. We seem to nail these big events every time when it comes to recording them, don't we?
Somehow.
Always. We were recording on Trump inauguration day. We were recording on the politics night, the election night, election day, as well. We always seem to be recording on these big and volatile days. Especially, we also record on what is it? The days that Fed Powell speaks, stuff like that.
Randomly, though, it's not organised.
Inflation stuff. We seem to speak on all these all the time. But yes, we are speaking on the day of the tariff news. We are going to briefly talk about market positioning and how I'm changing my strategy. And then we're going to talk about general sentiment and the fear and greed index. So we will kick it off with tariffs first. How do you think tariffs will affect the crypto space specifically, maybe as well as stocks?
Personally, I think we have similar views, but I think the market has reacted more to the build up to the tariffs than it will do to the actual news.
Yeah.
I don't think it will do too much. I mean, famous last words. But I think if we see, same as what you think, if we see lower than expected, we'll see a run. Higher than expected, maybe a fall off. I think we've seen most of the downward movement already, which I hope is true for everyone's sake.
For our bags.
Yeah, but I think they've shaken out this movement, shaken out everyone they intended to shake out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I think the tariff stuff is normally, I'm looking at it not as a nothing burger because obviously will it affect markets short term and long term, but ultimately I think it's all just noise. Obviously we know markets inherently hate flip-flopping uncertainty, and that's what we've seen unfortunately since Trump has got in. 1 minute we had tariffs on Canada and Mexico, the next minute they postponed for a month, and that was literally within 24 hours. So markets hate this, especially if you're a big pension fund or hedge fund or whatever. You're trying to position for this stuff, and he's constantly flip-flapping with policies. You can't position for that sort of stuff. So I think today should hopefully clarify some areas and some tariff news that people have been waiting for, and then we should see which direction markets want to go in. Now, I'm of the opinion that we will see the market start to rip. Liquidity's pointing to that. I think, as we all normally do, everyone gets too bearish at the lows, and then we all get too bullish at the highs, which is every time. We were at the lows of 76. We saw fear and greed down to 10, which you'll see in a minute.
We've already seen it.
You'll
see it again.
Yeah, you'll see it again. But yeah, fear and greed come down to 10, which is a really, really low level. We haven't seen anything like that since, I want to say, bear market.
Middle of the bear market,
start of bear market. Sorry, start just before the bottom of the bear market of 22. But yeah, I think tariffs overall nothing burger. And for me, and I know this sounds stupidly simple, the fundamentals that they will print money have not changed. Like, I know Powell's come out and said QE won't be happening until 2%, target is met, blah, blah, blah. You still have China stimulating. You have Europe now stimulating. They've just released their 500 billion euro package for defence. You have countless other countries around the world cutting rates and probably doing their own fiscal stimulus.
I mean,
this stuff all adds into...
You've got $20 trillion of debt just in the US.
Yeah. And this all adds into global liquidity. So as long as we see liquidity expanding, new capital being printed, we should see risk assets continue to move. Now, remember back in 2017, we had no US liquidity. It was all China. And we know from obviously past episodes, if you've been following along, that China has been begging for stimulus. Now the DXY has come down from its 108, I think it was, not higher, 110, I want to say. They've started to ease already. Financial conditions are starting to loosen up, which is obviously good for risk assets. So that kind of takes us into how I'm looking to now change my strategy. So personally, over the last couple of years, I've had two strategies. I have my spare capital from my 9 to 5 coming in, and I DCA'd that on a monthly basis. I had my select assets that I would choose from, and depending on how they've been performing or what's been going on with them specifically, I would weight them slightly more some and slightly more others, so it wasn't an even percentage every time, but it was those assets all the time effectively. April was my last month of DCA for that. That capital from my 9 to 5 is now coming to an end. You may think, why I feel so bullish. I think this bull market should be done within the next 6 to 15 months. Now I want to prep for the bear, and now you have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. If we don't get this next leg up and we go into an early bear, you've taken no profits, or I've taken no substantial profits. I need to be able to put, I would like to be prepared to put some capital back to work during the bear market. Now, if I haven't got any capital saved, I can't do that. So this is why all that capital that I was putting in is now going to be put aside. I now be stacking that and looking to implement that during the next bear. Other than that, the only other money I had coming in was obviously for private jobs and stuff, spare capital, and obviously some of the consulting stuff that I'm doing now. But that stuff I will probably continue to use, but not all of it. I haven't come up with the figures, but it'll probably be about 60% of it. The money I get from that will look to go into the market still, to buy the dip if we're in one. If not, I'll probably look to keep that as cash. So going forward, my whole thing has sort of changed. Obviously, members and free Telegram users, you will be notified of that in better detail. So that's a brief overview of how I'm changing it all, because we need to prep effectively. Now, that would then covers us for both angles effectively. So if we do get this short, sharp correction that I think we could have towards the end of Q2, and that be the bear market, and that would end in, say, early Q3, Q2, or end of Q2 26, I think we can then rally out, because I think we've got midterms next year as well. Trump doesn't want the markets to be stagnant for midterms. But that's how I'm looking to change my strategy, sort of thing. Other than that, I'm still bullish from where we are now. But we will go into the fear and greed index now, and Josh will give you a brief explanation of how this works. So, share the screen. There we are. We should all be good. Now, Josh, would you like to explain?
Yes. This is where it's cut out about 5 times, so now is the breaking point of the podcast.
Yeah.
If it stays on, which I think it has. So yeah, fear and greed index. If you're in crypto or you've been involved in, you probably know what this chart is anyway. It's pretty self-explanatory. It basically follows the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies. When markets are high, you see the blue areas. The blue areas are where everyone's greedy. Everyone's saying it's going to the moon. It's going up. Everything's going up. You can buy basically anything and you make money. Your doctor, your barber, your taxi driver, your nan, everyone's asking you what they should be buying. Should I buy crypto? Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Alex is taking screenshots, 50% in 5 minutes. Oh my goodness, we're going
Guys,
to the moon.
we're going to Mars.
Yeah, and as you can see, recently we've seen a massive fall off in prices, which has taken us down to the red, orange areas. And that's basically everyone's scared. Your friends are saying, "Oh, that crypto thing's a scam."
You're still holding that Bitcoin thing?
Yeah, exactly that. And yeah, it's basically a great indicator for you to look at. It should be as simple as when it gets to the blue sell, when it gets to the red buy. That is basically, that's the chart.
That is the fear and greed chart. So if you guys take a bit of time, get yourselves over to Glassnode, this is a free metric. Have a look at the fear and greed. There's all sorts of things you can implement with this. So you can implement the likes of, okay, when we touch blue every week, whilst we're in the blue zone, I'm going to sell 8% of my portfolio. Or you could do vice versa. When it's in the red, I'm now going to allocate X percentage of my cash holdings in every week or whatever it is, whilst we're in this zone. Now, that's the fear and greed. We've just seen this sentiment peak here from that 100k, 110k-ish area back in Q4 24, so December more specifically. And we have just seen what I think is the peak capitulation event of this current dip, around 76. Now, obviously, I know there's a lot of people that have targets below, including people that I respect and follow. Now, what I think is going on here, as always, setting aside the fact that we could have some sort of event, black swan event that sends us down lower, I think the bottom most likely is in. Because what I get from being part of Telegram groups and getting a good guide of people's sentiments, and a lot of people are very unsure. They're scared to come in here in case it goes lower, and ultimately, I think everyone gets too bearish at the lows, as we always do, and then as soon as we rip, everyone gets too bullish at the highs.
But that's exactly what the people who control the markets are wanting people to have. They want you to feel ultimate greed and optimism in December, and then nothing in April. Everyone's down, you're out, and but they're buying.
Yeah, and there's also on Glassnode as well. You'd have to find it yourselves, but there's a long-term hodl, Bitcoin hodl chart, effectively, and what that shows us is the sentiment of whales, and basically they've been accumulating during this dip. Now, the general sentiment I've seen is bearish, and like I say, very uncertain. This is why I feel we have bottomed. I have personally deployed 80% of the cash I had on the side. For me here being 25, and I don't want to speak for you, but as your consultant, educational consultant, not financial advice, the risk for us personally is not being in the market here. We've already stomached a 50% drop in our personal portfolios.
I think
we know that was part of the game. We hold alts. We're not stupid. And I'm more than happy to stomach another 30-40% drop, obviously assuming the underlying fundamental hasn't changed, and that is that they are still printing money.
Yeah, there's too many beginners and people who haven't got the experience. Some of the people that we know that are trying to, as you said earlier, trying to catch the falling knife and time it perfectly.
Yeah. When that should just be death for veterans.
Yeah, if you're
even though I don't do that.
No, if you're in now, not financial advice. You're not going to lose money in the long term.
As long as you're buying solid assets in months' time, or I'm not saying months, but down the line from here, you should be good. There should be no reason to.
You've got the risk of a 30% downside for 100, 200%, 300% up to whatever upside. The
risk of reward here is it's bar none. So it's because to here realistically, let's look at ETH, for example. It's been shit for the last 2 years, if not longer. And when everyone is mega bearish, ETH makes me bullish. And everyone's saying, oh, ETH is done, it hasn't done anything, I'm capitulating, X is an absolute mess with regards to ETH. You've seen all these memes, what it feels like to hold ETH, and it's just a skeleton. Like, all of these things. This makes me now bullish on ETH, because as far as I'm concerned, your downside from where we are now, we're currently about 1,800, I believe, is probably around the grand area. So, I don't know what's that, 40% downside?
Which I doubt will happen.
Yeah, if that. But your upside here is, I'm personally looking at ETH to be north of $6,000 at the peak of this bear market. So that from here is at minimum 200%. Now, if you're telling me, right, okay, you could have this investment, the downside's around 40%, upside's 200 odd, that for me personally is a great risk to reward.
Yeah.
That's where I'd be looking to put capital effectively. Another thing I'd like to discuss a bit about is the age-old topic of financial advisors. Long story short, I got speaking to one the other day, just by luck when I was playing paddle. And in the UK, there seems to be a very bearish, or as soon as you mention crypto, their back goes up. They're like, whoa, crypto. Whoa, that's dangerous. You know, like that is
Looking like you're a
full of
criminal.
scammers.
Like you're
Yeah,
a criminal.
yeah, some sort of criminal. Oh, you must be a fraudster. All this sort of stuff. Anyway, I got speaking to him, and I was like, "Look, can you not offer it for you work for?" He goes, "No." So I assume he didn't work for one of the big ones because I think there's a couple in the UK that now can. Um, and he goes, "My clients are happy with 8%." And I basically just said that 8% they're not actually earning any money. He goes, "What do you mean?" It's like currency debasement, inflation. I was like, "Come on, you guys aren't stupid. You know this shit goes on. You know they print money." He goes, "Yeah, unfortunately, my clients, they have enough money that they're sort of sorted." I said, "What about the younger people like my age? How is 8% going to do anything for them?" And his attitude was basically, "There's not much I can do about it. What do you want me to do?" Effectively. And his very closed mind sort of way of looking at it, or crypto, oh my God, like, can't be talking about that. My clients don't even know what stock is. Like,
You did
I'm
say
thinking,
that. You said that.
Like, I understand that. I'm not telling you to. I'm not trying to tell you you have to buy Bitcoin right now for your clients. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like, having an open mind to this sort of stuff might do yourself and others good.
Yeah.
And as I know a lot of these TradFi people, it's not normally them personally, it's the way they're taught. Because obviously in the TradFi space, they go for a specific whole load of bullshit in the uni system to get their I'm a financial advisor certification sort of thing. But nowadays, it doesn't leave anything for how is someone our age, and I say this all the time, how is someone our age going to buy a house
No.
if the houses are...
Nowadays, you've got to do something amazing to be able to buy a house.
Yeah.
Or like,
I mean, the average house is like 10 times the average 20-year-old salary, 23-year-old salary. And if you've got just a 9 to 5, that's not the best paying job. I mean, had advantage. I'm an electrician. It's kind of like higher skilled, if you want to call it that. Even on my salary that I would say is decent or good salary, it's still like eight times my yearly wage to buy a half decent house or flat. Like, it's crazy.
So no, it worries me because I feel like we're fine, and people that we speak to in groups and stuff, because we know what we're doing, and we've got a business, and you've got what you're doing, and we know what we're doing. But my friends are all good at what they do and stuff like that. But you just can't, like, you can't do anything.
No, you can't. I mean, there's a colleague at work. He's slightly younger than me. I want to say 23. He's looking at obviously having a house, and he was saying the other day that he's adding up all the bills, and he goes, between mine and my girlfriend's salary, we're going to have like X amount left. And I'm like, not financial advice, but this is why I'm saying that your money's better off elsewhere. Right? Yes, okay, there's security obviously in buying a property and whatnot. But I think if you can get yourself somewhere that's below what you really need, I mean, obviously a lot of people in this day and age, obviously with social media and whatnot, they like to have the best looking life, the fanciest of houses, the fanciest of cars, this, that and the other. I think if you can find somewhere like, previously I've actually looked at like buying a motorhome rather than a house, because you can buy a decent looking motorhome.
You can still have those nice things. I think you just need to delay it. You've got to live below your means until you've got the means.
Yeah, to do it. And the worst case scenario is they go, okay, but what if you lose everything you've got? I go, I can at least look back at it and say, at least I fucking tried. Sort of thing. Because if I didn't try, what am I going to do?
Your worst case scenario is the same as everyone else.
Yeah, worst case scenario, I'm the average Joe that goes to work every day, comes home every day.
It won't happen because the mindset you've got. But still, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird old world, and I just feel for the people that obviously don't take that risk. Obviously, it's totally down to them. Yeah. You can't pressure people into do this sort of stuff. But people aren't realising they're getting screwed over, effectively. No one takes that. I mean, I was talking to another fella the other day, and he goes, I'm getting 4.7% on my cash ISA.
Wicked.
And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, that's all right. Like, it's not bad, but what's that going to do for you down the line? And obviously a lot of the older people in my industry, engineers, they love a bond. Like, they won't buy anything other than S&P or bonds. And even the S&P sometimes are stretched. They go, "Oh, buy the FTSE." Just because you're in the UK doesn't mean you buy the UK stock
Yeah.
market. It's fucked. Like, I wouldn't want to buy the UK stock market. But these people, obviously, it's at the end of the day, it's the lack of financial education that the UK and people get.
You
That's
don't learn about any of it in school,
no, that's what
so
is
you
the
can't
most
blame
worrying.
anyone really.
Yeah,
It's just,
that's what the
I
most
mean,
worrying thing
not
is.
even finance is mandatory in school, which it
Yeah,
definitely should be.
yeah, 100%. Um, have you got any alpha you want to drop for anyone that's watching?
No,
No,
just buy what you've just. I don't know.
only put in what
I
you can
like to
afford
keep it
to.
really simple. To be fair, you keep it simple,
Keep it
but
simple,
I think
stupid.
I keep it even more simple in the fact that I don't even really look at it. You've
Yeah.
just got to have your
Well,
portfolio.
I think your
Just got to
advantage
buy
is
it.
you have a business.
Yeah.
So on well, in your 9 to 5 is you're running your business.
Mm.
You haven't got time to do what I do, whereas my new business is this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's what I love 24/7. So I'm more than happy to look at it, and obviously that is what you and others pay me to do. Is I'm looking at this all the time, going right. I might call you up, Josh, cut it, get out, take the hit.
And you're like,
They've
have you
got to
deployed
move.
yet? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, and I'm going, what the fuck are you doing, Josh? We've had 6 weeks to deploy. How are you still not in? But yeah, I mean, like you say, I think the best thing for your average Joe, if you are a busy person or just have kids, family you want to spend time with, come up with a simple strategy that is automated.
Yeah, and some people you might not have any idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'd say first step. I mean, the chance of someone watching this that hasn't ever spoke to one of us before or is looking to get in, this is the first thing you're seeing.
If you're seeing this and we don't know you, you found us early,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to say it's a what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm going to say this is an opportunity for you guys to reach out to us.
Yeah.
Because there's some big things happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'd say getting Alex's, get in the free Telegram group. You put some of the market updates in there. You put other information.
I don't post any of the market updates on YouTube either. It's just for the free Telegram.
Get in there, and if you don't have a portfolio already set out that you're buying and you're just DCA and you don't have to think about it, just contact him. He'll have a call with you, sort it out. And I'd say that's the best way for you to get into the market. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean,
do you have any alpha you wanted to speak?
I have some charts.
Go on then.
Now, can you guess what coin this is before I get the chart up? And I'm going to give you a slight clue. I put a riddle in one of these Telegram chats I was in the other day, and some people got it. Hot air rises.
Altcoin.
Yes. Good man. Crypto native. Right, so we will get into it. If you're in my free Telegram or you follow me on X, you've probably seen I have posted about the mighty Fartcoin. And we also covered it on Crypto Waffle.
I don't actually hold this.
Nor do I.
Oh.
Fartcoin we discussed on Crypto Waffle, which was Monday this week.